Oh my god, it finally happened. Evergrande has just collapsed. Yesterday we talked about Evergrande potentially getting liquidated coming today, but it was the more unlikely scenario and could trigger a black swan event. And guess what? The more unlikely scenario just happened. And this is what it has their stock doing. Jumping off a cliff and getting halted as court orders China Evergrande property developer to liquidate after it failed to reach a debt deal. Now, let's talk about who is holding bonds over with Evergrande. Who are the bondholders? And yeah, Citadel does have a connection. Without further ado, guys, we have a lot of stuff to cover in today's video. All he has to do is watch until the end of the video so you don't have to watch another update video here on YouTube. I'm going to update you on everything that there is to update you on with AMC GameStop, the overall market. And yeah, hit that like button. Thank you so much for 18,000 subscribers. That is another reason why I'm so hyped. First, Evergrande gets liquidated on the same day I hit 18K subs. So overall, a fun day. Okay, so who are the bondholders? Some of the world's biggest investment firms, Ashmore Group, BlackRock, Phil Ltd, UBS, Alliance SE, have all reported holding Evergrande debt in recent months. So it's going to be a long road for them. But wait a minute. Evergrande's largest institutional ownership from 2021 shows a couple other things as well. Before we jump into that, there's something called Qualified Domestic Limited Partnership Program that was going on over in Evergrande that had ties with Oak Tree Capital as well as Citadel Securities. The first round of this program, they were permitted to raise 50 million in Chinese currency. Now, there has been a long theory that funds and institutions have been using Evergrande as a means of quick accessing capital. So does this mean a squeeze? Well, we're going to get into that, but Citadel is a couple degrees of separation away from Evergrande, as Citadel was one of the 6 foreign funds allowed in the first round of this QDLP program that acts as a supplement and hedging tool for Chinese investors, which allows them to touch on offshore assets, and were permitted to raise 50 million in Chinese currency. One of the other foreign funds allowed in that first round of investing was Oak Tree Capital, who had to seize property back from Evergrande when it wasn't getting its money. Also, fun fact, in January of 2021, Bloomberg let us know that along with UBS, BlackRock was a bond holder. Well, what does this mean? It means Citadel, BlackRock, UBS, and Vanguard, which we're going to get into in 1 second, are all bondholders or have some sort of ties with Evergrande and may not be able to access quick capital, but also it's going to be a long time before they get their money back. Now, Chinese Estates Holdings Limited, speaking of institutional ownership, held about 8.66% of Evergrande shares. That is a property developer as well as investor over in China. Now, if we come down, BlackRock held about 5.8% of Evergrande shares. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with over 9 trillion in assets under management. And UBS, which held 2.4% of Evergrande shares, is an investment bank and financial service company with over $1.1 trillion in assets under management. And finally, Vanguard, which held 1.9% of Evergrande shares, all reported here in 13F filings as well as with links. So this isn't going to be small. Evergrande was just ordered to be liquidated completely. Shares dropped off a cliff and Evergrande bonds will officially be worth zero. Liquidity, collateral, margin crisis incoming. Moving on. As always, when shit starts hitting the fan, starting to crumble, they start turning on each other. Banks get bailed out by the Fed and now they're going to sue them. JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, and Goldman Sachs drafting landmark lawsuit against Federal Reserve January 28, 2024. This is what happens when they turn on each other. They start throwing each other under the bus. As many of you know, in March, the Bank Term Funding Program by the Federal Reserve will be cut off completely without any sort of warning, out any sort of backbone, absolutely cut completely. Now, what are the good things looking at the overall market? Right now, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is basically trading back here, starting the bull cycle, coming into the halving, and it is going to scale higher, something along the lines of like this, okay, like we saw back here. Bitcoin could also be in this setup before finding that last peak, which could very well be the case, breaking above 80,000, whatever your price targets may be. Another good thing is that along with Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic is also in the same setup. This scale down right here before that next leg up. This scale down right here before that next leg up, if you know what we have been tracking. Now, the third good thing is that looking at the S&P 500, back when Bitcoin and Ethereum did this was between December to April of 2021. Well, December of 2020 to April of 2021, right? And if we come and look at that time frame, this is what the SPY was doing. Broke out of a double top to an all-time high and then slowly scaled higher. What are we doing now? Broke out of a double top from an all-time high, slowly scaling higher, bleeding hedge funds, bleeding short sellers, and continuing to climb. These are all great setups, as well as GameStop. You look at GameStop, it's forming this W right here. Based off of the previous cycle, this is going to go for a second high and or squeeze. So there are two scenarios here. GameStop looks well. Third scenario, unlikely scenario, is that this cycle continues to play out inverse and GameStop is going to get smacked right here and not have that momentum and then break below this demand zone under 1350. If we break under 1350, then a cycle's playing out to the downside. Now, what is not good is this bar coding bullshit that they have going on with AMC, trading at 410, up 0.6% on the day. I still stand by what I've been tracking last week as well as over the weekend. Absolutely, completely, 100% lottery stocks. Are you still thinking it's going to squeeze this week? Yeah, I do still think we're going to see that nasty rip, especially with Evergrande now being liquidated. That is just another sprinkle on top, and it's a big sprinkle. I still stand by everything, but you don't want to see this chop BS bar coding bullshit on AMC, right? There's a lot of volume, right? There was a decent amount of volume on AMC, but now it is being pushed wherever they want it. Like, look at this volume candle, 120 in volume, and then you go down and it's 5K, 4K, 12K, and then wait, 200 volume, and then 76K. They're just shifting this wherever they want to. They are completely manipulating the price as best as they want. Now, another good thing, throughout the recent decline in price for GameStop has been seeing mostly dark pool buying and basically no selling. Yet, the stock price is still slowly declining. Now, Adam Aron, bro, what is this guy doing? He literally just tweeted, "Media scoffed at my embed tweet, but it's all true. AMC share price is so frustrating. The 2023 actors/writer strikes have ruined the early 2024 box office. Almost all I think about is rebuilding AMC. But AMC based in Kansas City since 1920, so how about those Chiefs?" This is just frustrating. I don't know what you guys think about this in the comments, but Adam Aron is what's frustrating. Actors and writers strikes have ruined the early 2024 box office. That is what he's blaming AMC's share price on. So, guys, the box office isn't that good. So our stock is down 99% from its high. I mean, the box office is just not the best. I mean, cut the bullshit. Moving on, another positive thing is we see the trend going up in short interest. So shorts are stacking on. And obviously, we know that they're stacking on with fake shares. We're going to touch on short exempts in 1 second. But we also know this is fake. And we only use it to identify the trend. So 10.62% short interest according to Ortex. 1.6 million shares available to borrow on AMC. 8,000 calls compared to 20,000 puts expiring in the money. So we are losing on the options chain, as well as 49,000 calls expiring out of the money going to market makers, all that premium. Short exempts low for a second day in a row. But again, still higher than any other play that really trades in the market. Except, of course, maybe Mullen. 80,000 shares available to borrow for GameStop. 3,000 calls compared to 1,000 puts expiring in the money. So we are winning on the options chain with 33,000 calls expiring out of the money as well. Short exempts low for yesterday for GameStop. Now, quick addition, as China is collapsing, they're like, damn, our economy's getting toasted. Let's just go kill people. China develops warships around Taiwan. And if you guys aren't really caught up in the loop, we may have to get involved, right? U.S. debt with Taiwan, China attacking Taiwan. This just might not be good, okay? Hopefully we don't have a World War III. Tesla up 4% on the day, 189.82. What are we doing with Tesla? And tune in with me because we have a few more things to cover. Tesla got a pop over this resistance level, and we have another resistance level right here around 192.50. So keep watch on there, 193. Tesla also has a gap fill all the way up to about 207, 207.05, okay? So watch that gap higher on Tesla. Lottery stocks, is this thing going to pump? I think short term, Tesla is going to have a slight climb. Now, hopefully that is going to be longer term and we see the cycle play out. But if we take a look at the previous touch points when Tesla hit this level, we scaled all the way up here from 195 to 266. Another time we used it as support, went from 239 to 313. Another time we went from 250 to 384 in a very fast period. Another time we used it as resistance and broke above, we went from 265 to 408, which was the all-time high. Okay, Previously, we have touched it and it could be a fake out and a push lower, which is the more unlikely scenario, but just keep watch for that as Tesla does have very large gap fills to the downside, 145, so on and so forth. You can come down all the way to below, right, sub 100. So just keep that in mind. But as of right now, Tesla, if it holds above this level and continues showing strength and momentum to the upside, we may just be in for a nasty bull cycle like Bitcoin, as well as the SPY, as well as other cryptos. TMF, I've been waiting to touch on this because I am still holding it in my long-term portfolio, but it finally filled a little bit of a gap down to $53-ish or so, down to $54. So TMF finished this gap fill, and now it is starting to climb again. But we want to see volume pick up on this climb higher. Now, we know the Fed is not going to cut rates this week, at least we think. And if they do, the market's going to go absolutely insane to the upside. But we aren't expecting them to cut, so just be aware of that. And on that meeting, this may have just a little bit of a scarce double top until the March meeting. So just be aware that that could occur as well for TMF. It also has a very low gap fill to around 42.50. I am still holding my TMF. Now, we took a trade in the trading challenge today and are up currently. Disney 96.72, up 1.43% on the day, and we have earnings on February 7th. Coming into earnings, it is breaking over this resistance level at $95.30. As of right now, I'm watching levels all the way up to 107.50 to potentially get out of Disney. If not, maybe a little bit sooner. Although, keep in mind, it did fill a gap, so this is risky, a gap back here. But it does have to fill another one up to 99.70, and that is where I will be looking for a safer exit on this. I also have a stop set, but as of right now, trading challenge continuing to go solid. So shout out to anyone copying my trades with the click of a button. Overall, guys, make sure to get in the Discord. The link is right under the video. And thank you so much for 18,000 subscribers. Now it's time to get to 20 and then 100K. The Discord is linked under the video. We have options trading alerts in there. I'm in there on the daily. You can come request videos and talk with me as much as you want. Basically a big group chat with the most amazing people, and it's a coffee a month. So level up your trading journey and get in there. Also, guys, if you want 15 free stocks, each valued up to $2 grand, 5.1% on your uninvested cash, level 2 order book data for free, and a ton of other things. Download Moomoo using my link. It never hurts to have another broker, and sign up and make a deposit. Once you deposit, you will start earning a ton of benefits from them. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Let's make money this week. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.